Hey, I'm Jeff Chavez. I'm a journalist out of Texas. I'd like to give a review, well, not actually a review, a recommendation of this film called The Life Ahead. It stars Sophia Loren, which we haven't seen like in 10 years, but she is just a screen goddess with history going back all the way to the 50s and the 60s, acting with the likes of Marlon Brando, Clark Gable. She's just a big star, internationally known for her beauty. Well, now she's 86 years old and she hasn't been in a film in like 10 years since I think the movie Nine was her last film appearance. And so she's in this film. It came out on Netflix about a week ago. So her son directed it, Eduardo Ponte. And what it is, it's about this older lady who was a former prostitute in Italy, and she now runs a daycare for prostitutes' kids. She takes care of their kids, and she has a friend that's a doctor, and he's raising this young man, this little boy from Senegal, who's about 10, 11 years old, and he's gotten too wild for this doctor. He's an elderly doctor. So he takes the boy to Sophia Loren and asks for a favor. Can you watch him, please? Just for a couple months, I'll pay you. Well, this boy is so charming and everything, and she doesn't want to, but she takes him in because he offers money. So they don't get along at first, and it's kind of like a rebellious little kid kind of a film, but through the film, they develop a relationship through situations and whatnot, and he really grows up and comes through. He gets into a little bit of trouble, but she's been around and she knows the streets and everything, so she just gives him a chance and always gives him a chance. If you can look behind me, there's the doctor, and there's the little boy. I mean, Abraham Gaillary is his name, or I might be getting it wrong, but I apologize. But just his first acting performance and just his face lights up the screen, and you know a star when you see one, so I'm sure that's why the director chose him. In any case, they develop this, and I don't want to do any spoilers, they develop this relationship, and he really grows up a lot, and turns out she's a Holocaust survivor. And I'm just going to jump through the film. As it goes on, he matures and realizes that the world is bigger than himself, and she starts having these spells, like memory spells, and he becomes more and more caring. He's a very sweet young man. He even helps his friend who's having a hard time, who's also an orphan, and he's very loving. So she sees that, and they confide in each other, and she says, and because she's a Holocaust survivor, and if you know his history, she said doctors experiment on people. So she doesn't want to be experimented on. And at this point in the film, in the relationship, they've been through a lot, arguments and so forth, and they trust each other. She says, promise me that you won't let me end up in the hospital, and I know you're a good person and you'll go through your word. He does it not knowing what he's in for. And I don't want to give any spoilers, but this young man really grows up, and I cried through the thing because it's so touching the way he cares. At first she was taking care of him, and now it's vice versa. And he just devotes his life to taking care of this dying old lady. Now, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it's just a heartfelt film. And if you know your film history, you know about Italian neo-realism, and they use, like you can see, natural light and settings that as is, because when they started making films in Italy in the 50s post-war, they just used whatever was around, non-actors. The Bicycle Thief comes to mind and all that, and she's of that generation, so her performance is very real and very raw. Even though she is a trained, seasoned actress, there's still that rawness of who she is and where she comes from. The same for, I believe, why they cast this boy. He represents all the refugees in the world with hope. He has every reason to be bitter. His mother's dead and everything, and he's in a country where he's not well liked, but he still comes through. And here's the point: if you stayed in through this whole 4 minutes so far, it's the dignity and the humanity that we all feel, that we all need to be getting back to. That we're just all human beings. We're all here to help each other and love each other. And this film basically has a heart about love and all that. I just wanted to recommend it. This might be a stupid review, but I love this film. I've never done one of these before, but I felt like if I could touch one person to see this film and just get movies like this made, it's not going to be a Hollywood blockbuster. She'll probably get nominated for an Academy Award or so forth, but just take your time if you've got the time and no one's around and you need a good cry and a good touch back to reality in these times. Watch this film, The Life Ahead.